Hey everybody, I am like a minute early because I wanted to jump on, that way people that were coming into the page ready for 7 p.m. like me didn't miss this. So I am a minute early. I just wanted to say hi. Welcome guys. I'm so excited to talk to you guys tonight about being super duper stubborn with your goals, okay? So say hi as you jump on. Let me know that you guys are here. It's not notifying me that people are joining, probably because, there we go. Hey Crystal, hi Dawn. Hey guys. Okay, I want everyone, oh my gosh, yay, this is so much fun. Okay, I want everyone to do me a favor and drop their October goal in the comments, okay? I want to hear your October goals, okay? Because the very first thing about having a goal and being stubborn with it is you have to have a goal, right? You have to set one. And I think it's really super important to write down your goal, physically write it down somewhere. And I'm going to jump into some of my tips about goals and what's worked for me and what I think is a good goal and how to set them. But first, I wanted to hear from you guys 2 quick things. Thank you. I wanted to hear what your goal is for October and whether or not you think you're on track for that right now, because I want you to kind of think about that as we talk. Now, I see a lot of my beauties jumping on here. Hi guys, thanks so much for jumping on and supporting me. I know that a lot of the beauties that are jumping on here, you guys have probably heard me say this before, so thank you for listening to it again. For those that don't know me, I did want to introduce myself and give you a quick background of my journey because it's just been so incredible and everyone's journey is different, and I want you guys to know that, okay? Know that your journey will not be like mine or anyone else's, and so you guys have got to embrace your journey. So my name again, Jennifer Harris. I'm a Black Status presenter as of this past March. And fun fact that actually relates to what I'm going to talk to you guys about tonight is I wrote down Black Status as my goal for 18 months before it actually happened. And I was sitting back and kind of thinking, like, you know, what's the difference between it happening and not happening for me and for other people? And I think coming to this realization of something that we do that's kind of self-sabotaging is something that helped me to actually overcome it. And so I wanted to share it with you guys. So 18 times. There were times that I wanted to give up. There were times I wanted to quit. There were times like it seemed like I was super close to it and then something would happen and I would be further away and I would think, oh my gosh, how will this ever happen? But the next month I wrote that same goal down again and I kept working towards it, and after 18 times it happened finally, because I have an amazing team of, we're now at like 2,000 I think, amazing beauties, and I am so thankful for them. But guys, it wasn't always like that for me. When I first joined, I had set goals and I reached them pretty quickly, and it's something that, like, you know, we went like pink, blue, green, we went purple within 7 months, and it was just this whirlwind, right? And so I expected after that to keep hitting my goals because it had happened throughout the entire time period, throughout my first 7 months of my unique career. It happened so quickly that I thought, you know, oh, goals are meant to be hit like that, like they're just gonna happen. And so I got discouraged when I wasn't hitting my next goal, which was black. And you know, I found out that there's one secret that is the difference between people that hit their goals and people that don't hit their goals. And that's very similar to the saying that we always hear, that a Black Status presenter is just a white status that didn't give up. Somebody that hits their goals is somebody that does this, okay? You have to be super duper stubborn with the goal that you set for yourself, okay? So I'm reading some people's goals, 1,000 personal PRS, right? To hit pink, to sponsor people, to get qualified and make $1,000 in PRS. Pink, okay? I see a lot of pink. You guys got this. That's incredible. So excited for you guys. Okay. So here's the difference, and here's what you guys have to do to make sure that you hit your goal. Because when you first set your goal, it's super exciting, right? October 1st, right? I set this goal, I'm super pumped, I'm running, I have an action plan, okay? So tip number 1, guys, when you set a goal, make sure that you have an action plan that is aligned with your goal, okay? Make sure that your actions that you're going to take that month are outlined, and you know what you're going to do to hit that goal. Okay, but when you set that at first, at the very beginning of the month, it's super exciting, right? And then you get to like the 10th, 11th of the month, like middle of the month, and you're like, you know, maybe your goal was 1,000 PRS, and you're like, oh crap, I'm at 200. I'm not even halfway, and we're halfway through the month, right? What most people do is they change their goal instead of changing their actions and their action plan. And that is the number one difference between someone that is super successful and hits their goals, whether it's this month or next, and someone that doesn't. And so I kind of want to draw something for you guys, because I think some people are visual and I am very visual. And so I wanted to draw this because I want to play this out for you guys, because it makes so much sense when you see it this way, why this is important. It's one thing for me to say to you guys, don't change your goal. But when I show you the difference between changing your goal and changing your action plan and what that could mean for you and your business, you guys are going to see something crazy, okay? So let's say that pink is your action plan and purple is your goal. And this is going to be the end of the month. So this is the goal that you set. And I realize that might be kind of backwards for you guys, but that's your goal that you set, okay? This is your goal. Let's say maybe your goal is to sponsor 10 people, okay? So we're just gonna write 10 here, even though that might be backwards. So if your goal is to sponsor 10 people, you came up with an action plan. So here's your action plan that you came up with, and this represents the end of the month. This action plan was so that you could meet this goal of sponsoring 10 people. Now this goal could also be blue, purple, pink, orange, green, black, right? It could be whatever your goal is. So tip number 2 for goals, as we're going along, I'm going to share these, is make sure that your goals are measurable, that you have a way to know whether or not you hit them, okay? Okay, so this is the end of the month, your end of month goal and your action plan throughout the month. Here's about the middle of the month. So you start the month here on both, and you're super duper excited. So you're doing your action plan, and your goal, you hit the middle of the month, and your goal is right about here, right? And so what most people do, including businesses, and this is absolutely self-sabotage, this is such the biggest form of self-sabotage that you can take, is they look at this goal and they say, that goal was absolutely insane. Look at this. Look at this picture right here. I cannot possibly achieve that goal. So they say, get rid of you, goal. You are insane. And they say, I'm going to set a new goal right here. This is my new goal. This is my comfortable goal. I'm not comfortable with this goal because I'm not on track for it, so I'm setting a new goal. So they set their new goal here. And they stay on that same path with their action plan, right? What happens at the end of the month is maybe they hit that new goal, maybe they don't, right? If they hit it, let's say their new goal was 5, if we're talking about the same example. So their new goal was 5 instead of 10. So they hit that, they sponsored 5 people now instead of 10 people. Or maybe they just sponsor 4 people, right? So that's where they end up in this scenario. So let's take a look at a second scenario. Same goal, same end goal, which is 10, and same action plan, okay? And then you have your middle of the month. So same thing happens. You start your month off with your goal and your action plan goes through the middle of the month, and your goal, you're right about here. Same thing we just said, right? Here's the difference. Here is what's going to make or break whether you hit that goal and whether you find success. Instead of changing that goal, let's say you change your action plan. You either change what actions you're doing, so you stop mid-month and you reassess and you say, wait, I'm not on track. So what can I do? What's not working for me that I can replace with trying something else? What is working that I can do more massively? What can I take massive action towards that is working, right? So instead of changing your goal, I'm going to bring this back, you're going to change your action plan. You're going to increase your action plan. You're going to increase your actual action that you're taking in your business. And you're going to do this for the rest of the month. So that's increased action, okay? That's what that line is for the rest of the month. Two possible things could happen to you if you keep your goal the same. Very high It looks crazy at this point of the month. It looks crazy. Like, how's that going to happen, right? But two things could happen. You might take that extra massive action and end slightly short of your goal. So maybe you sponsored 8 people. Or that's scenario 1. And by the way, let's look at the other situation where you changed your goal. You only sponsored 4 or 5 versus 8, or you meet or surpass your goal and sponsor 10 or even 15, right? So if you look at these two situations, guys, it's a no-brainer that if you decrease your goal or change your goal because you're not on target for it, because you think it looks crazy, then you're shortchanging yourself. You're not going to make it to that goal in any reasonable amount of time because you've taken the same amount of action you've always taken and you're expecting to get a bigger result. Whereas if you change it, you now have your 10 or more, or maybe just 8, but you're better than where you were and you're closer to your goal if you don't change your goal. One thing that I find that's super helpful too, guys, when it comes to not changing your actual goal, is making sure that the focus throughout the month isn't on that goal. Don't put so much pressure on yourself, guys, to hit that goal. Put pressure on yourself to take action, to take massive action, to do things that other people aren't doing in their business, to learn things and immediately apply them, immediately put them into action. When you do that, you're naturally going to hit your goal. I think it's really super important to be able to assess that action plan throughout the month by sitting back and saying, where am I? Okay? I'm not laser focused on my goal, but I'm saying, maybe my goal was blue this month, right? Or maybe my goal was pink. Either way, where am I right now in comparison to where I want to be by the end of the month? And this can apply to quarters or years, however you set your goals, but I'm kind of focusing more on like a short-term goal, which would be monthly. And you sit back and you say to yourself, where am I? If I'm not on track, what can I do differently? And sometimes you might not know the answer to what you can do differently, but that's when you start doing more personal development in terms of your mindset as well as learning. I cannot tell you how much Google has been my best friend, guys, throughout this whole career with Younique. I have used Google so much. Yes, Emily, don't change your goal, change your action plan. What you have to do is when you set a goal, you have to set a goal that scares the crap out of you. So for everyone that told me they want to hit a certain goal at the beginning of this live, when you say that out loud, does it scare you or does it sound pretty reasonable? Because if it sounds pretty reasonable, maybe you're setting your goal a little too low, right? Because what did we just say? If we set a higher goal and we work an action plan towards that higher goal, what happens? We get higher and further than we would have with a lesser goal. So that works with setting a goal too. What we just drew on that board when it comes to changing a goal works with setting your goal as well. So if your goal didn't scare the bejesus out of you, I challenge you to rethink your goal and maybe make it a little bit bigger and work towards that bigger goal. Because if you don't hit it, guess what happens? You failed forward. You failed forward towards hitting that maybe next month. And would you rather have a goal that you hit next month versus this month, or have a goal that you never hit? Right? That's something to think about. I think that it's also important to know, guys, that failure is imminent. It is going to happen in order to get success. You are going to fail at your goals in order to achieve success. It's going to happen. I always call them little pebbles up the mountain. You have a huge mountain towards your goal, right? So we all have short-term goals and long-term goals, and maybe your long-term goal is your mountain. Maybe your mountain is black status. Maybe it's to retire from your full-time job. Maybe it's to help other people in certain ways, spread the word about the foundation. Whatever your mountain is, whatever your end game, but not really end game, but bigger game, like 6-month goal is, that's your mountain. And on your way up that mountain, on your way up, there are pebbles. You will trip, you will fall. You will not break your ankle though, unless you quit. If you quit, you will not get up the mountain. But if you overcome those pebbles and you keep the mountain top and you're stubborn about that top, that mountain top is your top. That's your goal. A mountain can't just shrink. So don't shrink your goal just because you're only a quarter of the way up the mountain. It doesn't come to you. You got to go to it, right? So make sure that you are changing your actions and your efforts to meet the goals that you're originally setting for yourself, guys. Because here's the secret too. You are worthy. Get out of your head. Don't think that you're not. Don't think that you aren't capable of hitting your goals just because you might not be on track, or just because you're tired, or just because you scare yourself in your brain because it's a little uncomfortable, because it's a little scary. Because guess what? It is scary, but scary things lead to beautiful, beautiful things, right? Just jump. Love that, Lily. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I took some notes and just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. But if you guys have like a question or two, I'm more than happy to answer it. I don't want to take too much of everyone's time, but if there's like one or two questions you want to drop real quick, I will answer them. I cannot tell you guys how many times I seriously wasn't certain that my goal was going to happen recently. And I recently set a new, very, very, very scary goal, to which I had to sit back and reassess myself this week, like just this week, and say, what am I doing? Am I on my way to that goal? No, I wasn't. So I had to revise my action plan. How do you make an action plan? So guys, I'm so big on what I call business plans. And what I call business plans are, you set a goal. And it's a short-term goal. It's like a 3-month goal maybe. So, or a 1-month goal, a 1 month to 3 month goal. And once you set that goal, you put some thoughts into thinking, how can I achieve that goal? What actions will it take me to achieve that goal? And if you don't already know, I mean, mainly it's going to be book, sell, sponsor, right? But if you struggle with what those exact tasks are, you can always work with your sponsor or your upline to identify what you need to do, what your numbers need to look like, right? So if I'm going to sit there and say my goal is pink, I need to know how much PRS I need to have. I need to know about that 2,000 company wholesales. I need to know how many people I need to sponsor to have at least, you know, my qualified person for hitting pink status, right? So you just have to make sure that when you're doing that, when you're setting your goal, you kind of break it down and think, what's it going to take? And then an action plan is saying, first, it's kind of like 3 steps. Okay, so you set your goal, then you say, what's it going to take, right? Like, what are the actual, like, measurable things that I need to hit? And then how am I going to hit them? So I might say, I'm going to host 20 parties this month, or 20 events, or I'm going to do a mix of 10 parties and 10 vendor events. I don't know. Whatever you have to do to hit your goals that you have, right? To hit those numbers that you need to break down. And then maybe the way it's going to be different for everyone. That's why you have to take a step back and look at your business when you do this. But let's say you're going for pink status and you don't have anyone on your team yet. Obviously you're going to need to sponsor some people. So that would be one of the things in your action plan. And then you're going to actually drill down into like a 4th step and drill a little bit further into your actual action steps. What are you going to do every day? What are the things that you're going to give your business the most focus on, because they need that right now to get to your next goal? So if, let's say you're going for pink and you have a bunch of people on your team, and let's say you have like 10 people on your team, and of those 10 people, 5 of them qualify regularly, right? All you got to do then for you is focus on the company wholesales really, and making sure your PRS is good. So maybe your action plans for that month are more focused around generating retail sales, right? So it all depends on you, but that's how you break down to make that. You pick your goal, you outline like measurably, quantitatively, how you're going to reach that goal, what it takes for that to happen. Then you identify what actions you have to do to take that, and then you create like a checklist or step by step. Here's what I'm doing, here's what I need to do to get there. How do you keep working when you know you are doing the right things and crickets? Okay, so this is what I have to say about that. Personal development, motivational video right when you wake up. It's going to bleed out of you into your audience when you have your mindset right. And sometimes, and guys, have you ever heard the story about the like gold diggers, like the people digging for gold? There was like this man and he digs for gold, and let's say he's digging and he gets right here and he's come this whole way and he's like heard crickets. He hasn't seen a single piece of gold, right? He's like, there's no gold in here. This is crap. I'm out. See ya. Right? So he leaves, and this other guy comes in, and he is like, I know there's gold. I have every faith in myself. I know it. I am attracting gold to me. Gold is happening. Then he keeps going and digging, and bam, he gets the gold where the guy was right here and almost had it. You just have to keep going. You have to keep going. And what helps you keep going is personal development. I laugh because a lot of the times there will be girls on our team that will come to me and say that they feel discouraged, or they haven't had a sale in months, or maybe not months, but you know, a couple weeks. And I say, because it's true, I've been there. I know how that feels. It feels slow. It is slow when you're building your momentum, right? But if you have to stay consistent to build that momentum. But I always tell them, like, I'm willing to bet money that your big break, like your next sale, if you keep doing what you're doing, is coming within the next like couple days, because you're feeling defeated, and when you get over that hump, that's when it happens. Like, it just happens. It's crazy. It's like this wall, and as soon as you get over it, it's just right there. It's like a law of the universe. It's bizarre. It's crazy. Yes, girl, PD. Definitely. And when you feel discouraged, also have a strong why that you've written down. And if you're feeling extra discouraged, I challenge you to communicate your why somehow. Whether that's a live video, whether it's making a post, reconnect with your why. Because there's a reason that you set the goal that you set for yourself. There's a reason that you signed up. There's a reason that you are here on this video, right? It's because you want something. It's because of your why, whatever is behind you. And whatever that is that's driving you, sometimes it's easy to get discouraged. Reconnect with it. Reconnect with it. But whatever you do, don't change your goals. Don't change what you initially wanted for yourself, because you're shortchanging yourself, and you are worthy of so much more, ladies, so much more. Okay. Thank you guys for hearing me out. I hope that this was helpful. I hope you guys feel like you took something away from this, and that you truly understand the importance of not changing your goal, not shortchanging yourself, and knowing that you're worthy of that goal that you set for yourself. Set bigger ones instead, and you guys can absolutely achieve them, and I can't wait to celebrate everyone's successes, okay? Bye.